In this section, there's not really a lot to know about the operation of your calculator, but you can run into situations where you have large numbers that aren't displayed very well. And if you're not expecting how that display works, then you can run into problems. So I've come up with a question here that will run into this so you can see what happens, and that way you'll be prepared for it in case you run into it. So suppose you're taking a multiple choice exam with 10 questions, and there are 5 possible answers on each question, only one of which is correct. If you don't know the answer to any and you randomly guess the answers, what's the probability of answering all 10 questions correctly? Well, if there's a multiple choice test and there's 5 possible answers, only one is correct, then there is a 1 out of 5 chance of getting any question answered correct. So 0.2 probability. Now, that same 0.2 probability is this on every single question. So the probability of answering the first question correct is 0.2, and the second question is 0.2, and the third, and so forth. So if you have 10 questions, you need to take that 0.2 probability and raise it to the number of questions, which is 10, and what we get is an answer that looks like this. Now, clearly, we know that probabilities can't be larger than 1. So why are we getting an answer of 1.024? Well, the answer is we're not. We're getting an answer of 1.024, and then this e minus 7 is the way the calculator represents scientific notation. So that means times 10 to the negative 7th power. So we really have 0.000, and there's 6 leading zeros, and then 1024. So it's a very small probability is what's happening here. And all those leading zeros can get very glossed over, and that's why the calculator switches to scientific notation instead. So you just need to be aware that that's the possibility, and make sure you answer properly. So when you answer, definitely don't just put 1.024. That's incorrect. And don't use the scientific or the calculator scientific notation with the e minus 7. Use either the scientific notation that's standard, so 1.024 times 10 to the negative 7th power, or change it to decimal notation and put the decimal, 6 leading zeros, and then 1024. And I think even in the homework, since technically if you round this to 3 decimal places, you end up with just 0, that it will accept 0, but using something non-zero is a better answer because a probability of 0 means it's the impossible event. Even though this is unlikely, it is still possible to answer all questions correct if you're randomly guessing on a multiple choice test. It's just not likely.